Hi guys, I'm Abby, and this is Abby Chat Slot, where we invite a guest each month from the creative industry. This is Sai from Fernbank Digital. So, Sai, we've worked together before, haven't we?
Yes.
You contacted me, and it was a bit of a project.
Yeah, we just speaking before this started that how I actually found you and the process to finding you in terms of like you working on that brochure project for us. But
Yeah,
yeah, we had a quick turnaround brochure design project, a huge project, but I think it was complex in terms of it needed to be done really quickly.
yeah,
I was let down by someone who I've used many a times and thought we're not going to be able to deliver on this project and reached out to yourself and you were great. You set out like the deadlines of when you would need things and what you would need to actually deliver the project in a tight time scale, which was like three days.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, with your job, how you found me, and kind of how would you use your job to kind of do that?
Quite honestly, it was a bit of a panic search on Google. But what I do for work is a lot of Google and intent focused marketing. But it was a simple search of graphic designer Doncaster, which we
Yeah,
just spoke about, and you didn't know that you actually ranked quite highly for that search term, and that's a local search term as well. So, but yeah, I searched graphic design Doncaster in Google,
yeah,
and I believe you're like number one or number two for that search term, which is really good in term for yourself because what you can do is duplicate these pages. And if you wanted to rank more national or in different locations, you could do that because you've got a good base and good meta structure on Google to rank for that search term. So we got in touch with you. Difficult though because of the different names that we just spoke about. So I found you on LinkedIn from searching on Google, which is good how two platforms work together for me to get in touch with you. And yeah, set the brief across for you, and yeah, got back to me like instantly.
and with your kind of role, would you say could you help other companies get to that state? Is that part of your role, would you say?
Yeah, we don't we do a little bit of SEO work for more longer term clients that we've had. We've been going for 4 years, but what we focus on is um, PPC campaigns. So what we spoke about there, that you naturally ranked on Google for that search term, graphic design Doncaster. What we do is put people at top who pay for that position. So it may be, 50 pence a click to rank for that search term in Doncaster, graphic design Doncaster. So if someone came to me as a company that offered graphic design Doncaster
Yeah.
or graphic design and they were based in Doncaster and said, look, we want to rank, I'd say, well, you've got a lot of work to do to compete with Abby to get to the top of Google for that search term. So why not place an ad on there that takes traffic away from Abby and then take it to a landing page, which converts a really good landing page, get the click to the landing page and then convert that customer, ask them a few questions on a survey or a form, ask them about the project, what budget they have, um, do they work with any designers currently? Those sort of questions is what I'd ask that person that lands on that page.
And when you go on Google, 'cause is it the searches at the top then? Is that how you pay?
Yeah.
Is it
So
so
have you ever
I've never
do you
paid
not
for
click the ads?
anything. No, I don't.
No. So when you if you're searching for something on Google
Yeah.
and you see the ads at the top, you scroll past them and click on
The
the organic.
yeah.
What if those offer a really good incentive for you to make that click? Would you then be potentially click?
I know it's really bad, but something in me just says scroll past it, and I
Yeah.
don't know, but
Yeah.
obviously a lot of people must click, or else they wouldn't be there, would they?
No, so yeah, so the offer is what brings the person through. So organic rankings tend to not be offer based, but the Google ads at the top will be sort of offer and incentive led to get that traffic. But if someone does click on that ad,
Yeah.
they might not be ready to purchase. It might be a high value product, high value service, so they're not ready to purchase there and then. But then what they might do is might be on social media the next day, and then we can retarget that user them, and then we can show them, social media ads, TikTok ads, hit them with remarketing on Google. It might be a product, so it could be shopping focused. So you get shopping ads that are at the top as well. So yeah, you can remarket to that. And but it's something like, I believe, 12, 13 times a person sees a product or service before they go on to make
Yeah.
that purchase as well. So
So when a client comes to you and they want to be in those kind of sponsored areas, if when a customer clicks on those, so you're paying for that person's details as well, I suppose? Is
if
that in
that's
it?
the main goal, is to get those details because they've clicked on the ad, so they're potentially interested in the product. They're not. The difference between social media advertising and Google advertising is someone on Google searches with intent to make a decision there and then. If I'm searching for running trainers
Yeah.
in Doncaster, I'm probably looking to buy running trainers somewhere in Doncaster there and then that day. Whereas on social media, you'll see an ad, and that's more brand awareness focus. You might not be ready to buy there and then, but you'll be like, oh yeah, I was looking at running trainers the other day. But if you're searching on Google, it's more intent led. So we're Google first when it comes to advertising, more intent, because that's the best chance of getting either a lead, a sale, interest in a service rather than social media. But they all complement each other. As we know from when I searched for your business, I looked on Google and then I went to LinkedIn to reach out to you
Yeah.
because I knew I could get in direct contact with you that way. Whereas going through your website may take a longer process.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So in terms of projects, what would you say is the most the one you're most proud of, I suppose?
My what I've delivered.
Yeah, what you've delivered.
Yeah, that's a good question. So we work with tile company that when we started working with that tile company, there was turning over so much revenue. But now with one e-commerce site, but now they've got like 4 or 5 e-commerce sites and 2 e-commerce sites in one in Spain and one in Germany. So they've really expanded their operation. I think I put a don't know you like to believe, but I put like a testimonial on LinkedIn of that client yesterday.
I feel like you've done a lot on your social media and especially lately, haven't you?
Only recently, as like before, I've never done any outreach or gone out there to find business. We've relied on word of mouth, and I am a massive believer in the quality of work speak for itself. I don't. A lot of agencies tie people into contracts, like, oh, you've got a 6-month contract with us to secure cash flow over a longer period of time.
Yeah.
But what I do is I don't do contracts. I literally let the work speak for itself. And we've got clients that we brought on 4 years ago that are still with us to this day. We don't have a high churn and burn, whereas a lot of agencies pull clients through the door, deliver a I'm not going to swear,
We've
but
been
a
told not to
crappy
swear.
service, and they have like this churn and burn rate. They pull one client on, they leave in a month, but they have a lot of outreach because they know they've got a bad service delivery, and then they have to have that massive outreach because they know they lose clients a lot. But we literally care. We give a crap, and we want our client to feel like the direct impact of what we do for them in terms of both money in their own pocket, but then having a good quality service that's scalable, so they can rely on us as like a long term partner too.
Yeah. Do you find that that attracts other customers of not putting that kind of retainer in place? Do you feel like that?
It's good you say that. It's never something I've marketed or spoke about really, but maybe it is something that we should speak about, that we don't do long term contracts. We just do. Um, we're not saying if you come on board, you can leave the next month if you want to. We're not tying you into 3, 6, 12-month contracts.
Yeah.
We know we deliver a good service. Um, it's up to you if you want to stay or leave, because we don't want to just pull any client on as well. We've got to make sure that we can get results for them, um, and they're a right fit for us. I'm quite good friends with, well, I say good friends. I get on really well with most of my clients, to the fact that I could ring them up on a weekend, or they will ring me up on a weekend and just have a chat. And some stuff can be not work focused. Some stuff
Yeah.
obviously is work focused, but that's the culture, I guess, that we want to have when we bring a client on. If we get a feeling that it's not the right fit for us, then we'll just walk away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when a new client comes on board, can you how will you kind of say what the results are, and then how will you measure the results? Because I find all that sometimes it's a bit tricky, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It's a lot of people get a bit scared that they're just going to spend money, but what we do, everything is trackable. So for every pound that we spend, we know how much we're generating from that pound. And I don't mean by you spend a pound, you're going to get a big order sort of thing. I mean, we look at an average return on ad spend. So if a client's spending, let's say, £5,000 a month on advertising, we look at what the return is on that £5,000 ad spend, and then we get an average return on investment, or it's called ROAS. Um, so we say we aim for, as a bare minimum, in the first sort of 2-3 months, we want to get that client to sort of 400 ROAS, 4 ROAS. So we know that for every pound that they're spending in their advertising, they're making 4 back,
Oh,
and that
really?
puts them in a like a scalable position to be able to grow. So they know if they're spending a grand, they're making 4,000 back, 100 grand, 400,000.
Right.
So it puts
Okay.
in a bit of a scalable position when it comes to advertising.
And do you kind of compare that to what there was selling before?
Yeah,
Is it all kind of, because this is another thing as well, is that these talks are all about the creative industry.
yeah.
Would you say your role is creative?
No. No, in a way that I think there is a place for creatives in the industry. What I'm very much like analytical, but I couldn't do what I do without creatives that deliver design, that deliver all the assets needed to actually scale the ad. So you don't really get a lot of creatives that do the ad side,
Yeah.
if you know what I mean. You're a creative, but you don't run ad. You could,
No.
if you mix the two together, creative and analytics, data, ads, that sort of thing, then you've got clients that you can consult on and say, this is what I'd recommend in terms of creative, and this is how we're going to get results when it comes to advertising.
So do you kind of work with, I know we did the brochure, but in terms of this that we're talking about, do you use a graphic designer or
Mm.
images or anything like that?
What a lot of clients that we start work with, we do have they do have assets. It's just they've not been able to work with someone that can get results for them, so they provide a lot of the assets. Um, I think creative now, in terms of advertising, it's very video. Like we're doing this podcast now, it's very video and clips led shorts, 15-second
Yeah.
promotional type videos. But it at the end of the day, if the offer's strong, it doesn't matter if it's just a black graphic with white writing, or it's a really high end production video. If the offer's strong, then the client's always going to get results, right? If you're offering a good offer and a good service or a good product,
Yeah.
um, I think the creative helps get more customers and more puts them in a better position. But I think it's offer creative delivery, I
Yeah.
think.
So your clients have always got the images and the video, and then you're kind of putting it that the
Sometimes they
output.
do, but yeah. So when do we have you're our design sort of go to now when it comes to image and things like that. Um, but yeah, a lot of the time they do have, but it's probably for us, which I've never really thought about, is to go back to the client and said we recommend getting this type of creative. We don't, because I'm not high end. I can think about creative, but I'm not creative led. I think there's specialists when it comes to. I think you're a specialist when it comes to creative. So it might be for us to go back to the client and then recommend this is the creative we recommend, or get someone like yourself involved to say, to have that creative input. We think this would work when it comes to advertising.
Yeah. And do you work with, is it packages? That,
It it complete. That's a good one. We don't do packages.
yeah.
I think that um, cheapens the offering a little bit. I don't know how you can. I know a lot of agencies, a lot of freelancers do packages, but I think it pigeonholes cheapens the service a little bit. What we do is when it comes to ad spend, let's say a client has £1,000 a month ad spend,
Yeah.
that dictates the amount of campaigns we can run. We don't want to spread spread that budget too thin across every platform.
Yeah.
We'll choose Google first because it's intent led and we know we're going to get better, stronger results.
Yeah.
So we'd use that budget on Google. And then when they start seeing results from Google and they increase the ad spend, that's when our management fee would then go up to include social advertising and things like that. So we tend to have, let's say they have £1,000 ad spend, we had a direct management fee as a result of that ad spend. As they get results, everything we do is scalable. So over time, we expect client to grow. So as they increase their ad spend, our management fee would increase. But at that point, it's a bit of a champagne problem because they're getting good results from that initial £1,000
Yeah.
ad spend, if that makes sense.
Okay. And I know that you've worked for the race course in house.
Mm.
What do you obviously? Well, do you prefer working for yourself in your own agency?
Yeah, I had a great time when I worked there. I worked with some really really good people. Um, but yeah, I think we just had this conversation before we went on, didn't we? I think I being self-employed, running an agency, just carving out a corner of the world for yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
So I'm not against having a boss or anything like that, but not having to answer someone and working on your own terms, I think is quite it's quite a good position to be in.
Do you think you work harder for yourself
Yeah,
and more hours?
yeah, yeah, because you're directly responsible for your
Yeah.
own life. You can't coast really. Where not that I've ever coasted in any job, but your work output dictates what comes back to you. But I do find time to shut off and as I say, I brought on clients that's pretty much understand that and are quite they don't expect access to me or the freelancers that I work with um all the time that they understand that we have a life to live as well and we're not available 24/7.
Yeah. Did you kind of learn a lot working in house, would you say?
Yeah, for anyone I know we're going towards like getting into the industry,
Yeah.
um my route to it was a little bit different. I didn't do it at university. I did event management at university, and then I went into sales. Like we're talking, pick up a phone, make 100 calls a day, sales, try and sell them IT equipment on the phone.
Yeah.
And that was to be honest with you, quite a high paying job. I was doing quite well in direct sales, but then I left, which confused everyone. But I left to go to like a really small marketing agency.
Oh,
I'll
really?
not mention the name though.
In Doncaster, was
In
it?
Doncaster, yeah. Um, but I went in like a business development role.
Oh,
But
right.
I
Okay.
always the reason I went to small marketing is I always had interest in digital marketing and
Yeah.
marketing, but I didn't have a direct experience really, other than a little bit of volunteer work here and there. Um, so I went to in like a sales role into a marketing agency, and then sort of shifted and moved towards like marketing strategy, vision, and then employed two really, really good salespeople. So they took that weight off that, but sort of grew the agency. Um, well, helped with the MD to grow the agency, and yeah, and then moved to the race course in more digital marketing position, driving ticket sales through Google, social
Really?
media ads, things like that. I'm a big believer of just get someone through the door, even if it's the littlest project. You design in a business card,
Yeah.
and then grow that account. Once they're through the door, they've set up, they've onboarded, they're everything. It's too difficult for them to then go elsewhere. So once you're through the door and you've delivered a service, whether it's really really small, design a business card or whatever, because we got a big client through the door in the old marketing agency that I used to work for, designing a business card for them.
Yeah.
This is a huge bit. So they had a couple of marketing agencies that work with massive projects, but the commitment to get through the door to just design a business card that the other agencies would just turn the nose at because it's a really small project, and then grew that account from there to
Oh,
be
right,
like,
okay.
a £20,000 a month spend client for that agency at the time. So yeah, that's get through the door, small projects, and then grow from there.
And have you used that with your own business?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when, as I say, I rely on word of mouth a lot, let the work speak for itself. But when we have outreached in the past, it's provide resources and an offer to that potential client, show what you can do before they actually come through the door, whether that's designing ad creatives, going through an audit of their account, looking at actually what they're doing in terms of an offer in the marketplace. There's a resource called facebook.com/ads/library, where you can actually view what other companies are advertising, actually look at the ads.
Oh,
So you
really?
can go to their competitors and say, look what they're doing. This is the offer that they're doing. This is how we do something different for you. We reckon we can get a better offer than those competitors, and basically take their customers and give them to you.
So whenever anyone's kind of putting these on Facebook, it's totally transparent.
Complete
I
transparency.
did
Yeah.
not know that.
No?
No.
So you could look at, like, if you've got any clients that you work with, for example, you could go on their competitors' Facebook pages and have a look at the exact ads that they're running.
And we've collaborated. I feel like I'm going from question to question, but I'm really conscious of this time. But
Yeah.
we've collaborated. Do you collaborate with other people?
Mm,
Yeah.
mm.
And you love it.
Yeah. So, agent like the marketing agency space is about collaboration. Not everyone's an expert in everything they offer. I'm not. I know this is about being creative, but I'm not a design creative person, and I think there's a skill set in that. You're not an ads. You won't mind me saying this. You're not ads and analytical
No.
person, but I am, sort of thing. There's people that are communications and consult and strategy experts as well. So without them people and working together,
Yeah.
not one person can be the expert in everything, I don't think.
No.
No.
And do you think that as any project that you've done, you've set out and it's not quite, you know, gone the way that you wanted it to?
Absolutely. More so that the resource is not there from the client's end to be able to, I won't say too much in case they watch it and we clip it up, but for
They're
example,
definitely going to be watching it.
but recently we worked with a client that was generating qualified leads through Meta. They had quite a small budget. Um, the budget was 500 a month in terms of ad spend. So, but we had experience in this industry, so we took them on board to work with them when they reached out.
Yeah.
We was delivering leads directly to the client, qualifying them, so we'd know how much budget they'd have, dates that they want. I'm not going to say exactly where it is, but dates that they wanted, like a tour of what the service and the product was.
You've done well there. I didn't.
But the leads that was coming through, they just took for granted. They didn't do anything with. They didn't. We offered a nurturing service. They weren't up for that. So the leads that was coming through, they sent an email, did one email to them, and then just left it after that. But in lead generate, you need to be on leads. You need to be nurturing them, giving them offers, giving them incentive, giving them a reason to come back, answering any frequently asked questions, developing a relationship, just like in any industry. And this client didn't really understand that should be the case.
When I suppose with a client, would you help them nurture those leads, or would that be someone else's? Would someone else come in then to like nurture that lead and grow it?
Yeah, so if the budget's there, we do a full service. We create a bespoke landing page for that client that's looking to generate leads. That includes like an integrated survey that asks name, email address, what's your budget, what's the project that you need assistance, whatever them questions are for that client. That's on a landing page. Once that lead's been got, we take them into like a workflow, an automation process to further qualify that lead, but then book them into an appointment for the client to just either pick up the call or go to site and do an audit for them so they can get the sale on site. But what we're offering now as well is like a sales resource to help that client close the business as well, because we find that people are really good at the job and the service that they offer, but when it comes to closing the client and actually winning the business,
Yeah.
that's where it falls off a little bit. So we've put together like a sales resource and a pre-closing document that they can follow to a T to help them close that business, and we found that's working really really well for clients at the minute. But that's just like an additional um, resource document that we provide when a client comes on board with us.
So say if someone that has got a shoe business,
Hmm.
and they advertise at the top, when they click on that link, then what happens? Because
Yeah,
I've never clicked one of these links.
yeah. I can't believe that. Um,
I think I'm
S-
scared, you
So,
know, of
so what happens is a lot to that. That's a Google ad that we're talking about. That we have to have what's called a Google Merchant Center set up, where all the product and the product details are in there, and that pulls through to what's called Google Ads platform. But then when that's placed at the top, someone clicks on that ad. That will be a landing page to make that for that potential customer to buy that product there and then. There's a lot of things that come into whether that customer buys that product, and that is reviews left on the product, how many people have ordered or viewed that product. So you've got to have all these like sales gimmicks and tactics on the page to help convert that customer. If there's 100 5-star reviews on that shoe product that you've landed on, it's a good price for you to make that purchase, then you're probably going to make that purchase
yeah.
there and then.
And is this kind of page, is it part of the client's website, or is it, have you just created it and you're holding it in your company? How does that actually work?
Yeah, so we're talking about two things here. We're talking about e-commerce, so buying that shoe product, that's e-commerce. When it comes to lead generation, we set up the CRM for the client, so that page that they land on, then we ask questions to. That's the client's CRM. We set that up for them, so
Yeah.
they have full access to go in there and look at how many leads are coming through and where a certain lead is in that process. So we give them full access and training on how to use that system.
Right. Okay. And say if a customer comes, how how do you kind of point them into which kind of social media, like TikTok, or how will you kind of make that
Yeah.
decision?
So if a customer comes, we've not gone out to a customer, right?
Yes. So if a customer comes and you kind of
And they and
ask
they
them
found
what
us
they
on
want,
Google.
well, yeah, yeah, if they find you on
Yeah.
Google, how would you then determine where you would spend their money?
Yeah. So straight away, I'm thinking there, well, they've literally found us on Google, so their customer's probably going to find them on Google too. But as I say, it really does depend on the type of business and the type of campaign they want to use. But we're always intent first led, so I would use Google pretty much every time. There is benefits of using social for advertising because of the creative.
Yeah,
You don't get as much of that on Google unless you're running like YouTube ads and YouTube videos where that's video led. But for me, people are searching on Google to make a decision there and then. Whereas social media, you see an ad and you think, oh, that looks good. I'm potentially interested. So I would say Google first.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And for someone that's coming in with into the industry, um, what kind of tips would you give them? Because your your degree wasn't in this area, but
Yeah.
what kind of tips would you kind of give them?
Are they coming in young? Are they coming in
Whatever
our
age,
age?
really, whatever
Yeah,
age, because paths kind of can change, can't they? You can work in a sector and then change at any point, really.
absolutely. So I would, if they're just coming into the industry, they've got to build the knowledge first, right? So unless they have that knowledge and they've been looking and they've gone on YouTube, they've looked at courses, they've done all the things they should do to get into the industry.
Yeah,
I would reach out to people like ourselves or agencies and just say, look, is there any small projects that you have at the minute that you need a bit of spare time? Then we can help you on. Just something as simple as that, just an easy outreach message, whether that's LinkedIn, email, and just say, we consider us in future if you do have any little bits and bobs for us to work on. Just honesty first. Like, just say that you're trying to build experience in the industry. You're happy to provide a cost-effective price. And also the main thing is that I'd share case studies and results that you've achieved for either an agency or clients before. If you're really looking to get some money quick from it, I'd look at like freelance websites, whether that's Fiverr.com, People Per Hour, Upwork, those things, and start building case studies, because case studies, video testimony, they're the things
Yeah.
that people look at and make a decision on whether they're going to use you. If you've not got testimonials, case studies, any work in the industry,
Yeah.
the best thing I'd say to get into it is literally is get that first,
Yeah.
and then show that to potential clients that you want to work with.
Have you had people contact you?
Yeah,
Have you?
yeah. Usually it's, do you have any jobs at the minute? Question mark. But if someone came to me and said, do you have any small projects that we can work on at the minute? Here's what we've done for another agency similar to yours, and here's how we've helped them, and here's how we've created time for the agency owner.
Yeah.
I'd think, right, well, straight away, they've got experience. I know I can trust them. They're going to create time for me so I can work on other things, and they're cost effective. Right. It's like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Then similarly to yourself, when we came to you, it created time. I just trusted that you were able to do the job. You showed case studies that you'd worked on before. So it were a no-brainer really for us to use you.
I really thought our collaboration worked really well,
Yeah.
and I came away from it thinking, because obviously I was doing the work for you, but then once you've engaged in that way, you're then I would then recommend you, and it
Yeah.
kind of it works like that, doesn't it?
But like, look at this. We're sat here now from a small project. When I said earlier about a small project, anything small, get through the door, it just opens up opportunities. Like, both sat here doing this podcast now. We're probably going to work together again multiple times on different types of projects. We've got a few projects, creative projects in the pipeline that will obviously get you involved in. And so yeah, it's just
Yeah.
getting through the door, small projects, and building trust.
Yeah.
Like, we know you're going to deliver in a creative angle because you've done it for us now. So yeah,
Yeah. And I've been thinking a lot lately with kind of branding and what I do. You kind of always have to go back to who is your kind of audience or your target market. So, say if you are applying for a job or you're wanting to, like what you said, you're looking at so the MD, like you are, what they're wanting,
yeah,
what they're wanting to see,
yeah,
kind of what you'll want it to be quite easy, like you said before, not wasting too much time because you're busy. So you want all the information there, don't you?
yeah. So like, oh god, my leg. The education sector and the brochure that you did for us,
Yeah.
you could go to open the door. Look at this brochure we've designed for the education sector. We'd be happy to create you a one-page brochure in a similar style, maybe free of charge or as a resource if you consider us when you're thinking about going out to a creative agency in future. That immediately puts you one step above any other creative agency or creative freelancer designer that wants that business from the education sector.
Yeah.
Yeah, just actually, rather than waiting for them to come to you, provide a resource, provide an offer, and let the quality of that speak for itself when they're considering going out to find someone like yourself in future.
Yeah.
I just need to put all this into practice now.
Do you kind of have like a hierarchy of kind of jobs? And because I like tick list, I'm just like tick list, post-it notes.
Yeah.
How actually do you work? Because I sometimes think, God, like I can't even speak about this. It's so backward.
Yeah. So that's a very good question. We've recently, I've paid for like a mentor, or a couple of mentors that run agencies. I'm part of this program called like Elite Agency Program,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of agency owners in there that we have like daily coaching calls with that do the ins and outs of it, and they've built a team, so I'm learning off the best sort of thing. But what I have in place is it's a system called ClickUp that's like a project management software. So I have a folder that's got the client services that we offer, whether that's PPC, social, web, social media, for example, and then the tasks that we do within that service, and then we schedule them in across the month. So I come into the office every day, and we've got a PPC freelancer that works with us, so I can see that he's working on that in that day because it's booked in for him.
And what software is that then?
It's called ClickUp.
Oh, right, okay. I think I have heard of that.
It is it's like Monday.com, but it's just a little bit more flexible. So you can time track work as well. So if you know, like, for example, it's a couple of hours that you're working on a design project, you can track that time. So if it goes over, then you can invoice. If it's agreed, you can invoice the client for that. Right, yeah. Or you can say, look, this is going over time because you're asking for more revisions, more things like that. So we've gone over that a lot of time now. Are you happy to pay, or we're going to have to give this?
Oh, do you do that?
Yeah, because you can't give an inch because people take a mile. Yeah. Sort of thing. You've got to be strict in terms of your offering. But I'm moving away from charging based on time anyway, and charging based on value, because there's only a certain amount of time in a day that you can charge. Right, 8 hours a day, and if, let's say, you charge yourself £50 an hour, £30 an hour, whatever that is, then there's only so much money you can bring into the business to scale at that point. So if you start charging based on value and quality, then it's a scalable position. And then you get to a stage, which we're not there yet, but you get to a stage where you get to pick and choose the type of clients that you want to work with, rather than just taking on anyone. I'm
like you. I've been working. Well, I've had 2 talks with him, but then he's just going to work with me for like an hour a month. Which is not a lot, but it's kind of heading in. You kind of have to set goals where you want to be, don't you?
Yeah.
But he looked at my website and saw the prices, and he just kind of maybe just questioned it. And it's like what you said. It's not always got a price on it, has it?
No.
The service hasn't always got a price.
No, so exactly, charge based on quality. I would personally remove pricing from your website, because if you're getting a really small company come to your website, they might think that's really attractive pricing. But then you get a big company come to your website, and they might think that's too cheap for us.
You've alienated them.
Yeah, and then you've alienated those big clients that you want to work with and provide genuine good quality design work for, because they think it can't be that good because it's £300 or whatever that price is. Let the work speak for itself. Put the case studies on your website. Get testimonials, like put this on your website of clients that you've worked with that talked about how good quality your work is, and then that'll filter out can you do as a brochure for 50 quid, and it's going to take you 20 hours to do it.
Yeah.
It's a 50-page brochure. It'll filter out all that crap, and then people start seeing the quality of your work, and so get them packages and prices off the website.
I have already. Yeah. I was like, thanks. And then, how many times have I said I feel like I say a lot.
I think I say it.
Lastly, I suppose when I'm talking about my job, like my husband's eyes glaze over, because I'm like, look at the space in between those. Do you find that, or do you think we work in a really interesting? It depends, I suppose, who you speak to.
Yeah, I think that's anyone that doesn't really understand. Speak to any partner or anything like that. I think it's difficult to understand the industry unless you're in it.
But when you're passionate about it, you really want them to get it, don't you?
Yeah, I guess you do, but they just never will. They just never will get it. But so it's.
Have you ever? Has it ever stressed you out being an MD? Like, feel like really stressed out.
When I first started, this is a bit of a story. But I was made obviously when so it was about 4 years ago when COVID hit. I was major stressed out because I was made redundant, and then to start a business.
Was that from the marketing agency?
No, that was from the race.
Oh,
course.
really?
Yeah. Signed an NDA, so I can't go into too much. But yeah. So
You signed one of them for that other job that we did as well, didn't you?
yeah. I'd recommend that because it protects yourself, especially if you ever get to a stage where you employ people or anything like that. Because what's to stop them going and taking them clients, if that makes sense?
Right. Okay.
So if you sign an NDA, they can't do that.
Right.
But yeah, so I was made redundant, and then I started the agency. And
Did you have any warning of this, or was it just really sudden?
We was on that furlough scheme, so it was pretty, and there was no racing whatsoever, so it's pretty like sure that it was coming. But no, until it happened, I didn't know. So I was thinking, right, do I find another job or do I just have a go at it myself? I've got the experience. I've literally helped secure a lot of projects for an agency that I worked with before. I can do it for myself, and now I have that digital marketing understanding to be able to offer it as a service. But the first month, I literally didn't know how I was going to pay the mortgage the following month at that time. So I was thinking, right, sleepless nights, working really, really late, and then luckily pulled this big website project on board that sorted like at least 2 months worth of mortgage.
Yeah.
And from there I just really focused on word of mouth, speaking to people. I did that I mentioned about the letter, putting the letter through. So that's what I'd recommend to anyone actually is if you're starting out in the creative industry, everyone makes emails. People are scared to jump on a phone and call clients about potential work, but it doesn't need to be a hard call. If you get that business owner on the phone, just say, look, really quick call. We've started a marketing agency. We've started offering freelance marketing services. Whatever your service is, we'd absolutely love it if you can consider us for any future projects. Would that be okay? Really easy call. They're not going to say no. You're a nice, polite person. They say, yeah, absolutely. And say, great. Can I just pop through some information to yourself? Is that okay? Yeah, no worries. Now, what a lot of people will do there is send an email.
Yeah.
Actually get some letter-headed paper in your branding or whatever. Write a really quick letter and say, look, really appreciate the call of the day. It's difficult getting into this industry, but if you've got any projects in future, we'd love it if you could consider us. And we've worked with XYZ. We've got experience in this sector. Put it into a letter, but write the MD's name on it and put it and literally go to where that business is and put it through the letterbox. It's always going to land on the MD's desk because letters come through usually with the address and it's been sent out in the post. But if you actually go into the office and put a letter through the door, it's always going to land on the MD's desk. So make sure it's a good.
Do you still do that? Because that is such a good.
No, but I maybe should get back. That's when I first started out. I did that and it worked. I pulled 3 clients on board from that approach, and they still work with me now 4 years later. So I maybe should get back to that.
And did anyone kind of suggest that to you, or did you just come up with that?
So it was the approach that we used in the old agency that I used to work for.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it does, in a massive digital world at the minute, it stands out because it's so bespoke. But another way of outreach as well. Have you heard of Loom?
No.
So Loom's like video recording software. It's like, use Google Chrome.
Yeah.
So it's an icon that sticks in the corner of your thing. You just click it and it starts recording your face if you've got a webcam.
Really?
So, but you can share your screen as well. So you could have like a PDF brochure of some design work that you've done or whatever your service is, and just show that what you've done and what problems you've answered by doing that, and then send that Loom video direct to an MD as well.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, rather than just sending emails that never work.
Yeah. What with
Massive
you?
outreach.
Do you record your face, or is it just literally you recording?
It can record the screen and your face at the same time, so it's up to you. I like to put face on there for like a personal approach, but we haven't done outreach in a while. But we are looking at a way of getting back into doing a little bit of outreach.
Yeah. Do you kind of? I don't feel I'm going on, but do you? Are you happy with the amount of clients, or are you just really wanting to expand? Is that kind of where is your kind of
Goal.
end goal?
Yeah.
End game.
We're at a bit of a pinch point at the minute. So as far as I can get with taking freelancers on is where we're at. But then we've brought this mentor on to help us look at the best strategy to grow in. I'd like to personally grow.
Yeah.
But I do really like the clients that we've got on board at the minute. I feel like the clients for life and have a really good, strong bond, and we're delivering a great service for them, and we're happy. They're happy with the service that we're offering. But I'm not one to sit on laurels and stagnate and do. So I'd like to really grow, and then later down the line, I don't know. I haven't thought about an exit strategy or anything like that because I like the work that we do too. Yeah.
I think that's it, isn't it? We've done good, haven't we? So if you're out there and you've watched this and you want to contact Si at Fernbank Digital.
Yeah, in terms of where to find me, you've got a few options. Fernbank.co website, and just search Fernbank Digital on socials, or add me on LinkedIn, Si Lewis.
So if you want to get hold of me or any branding or design, it's just search Abigail Bromley Design.